Hello and welcome to the Prismatic Congress, a broadcast by the Prismatic Imperium based in QBO, an active player group that makes up part of the Ashling Devel community and specializes in roleplay. And today we have the 2nd of February 3306. It is 2200 game time, and it has been fairly quiet this week in terms of elite news. So no news on the topic of either fleet carriers as a more anticipated update, or also the second of the big bug fix patches. So we will have to stay tuned for news about that. Nevertheless, there has been at least some kind of information from Frontier, which is a notice regarding supply and demand of high-end minerals. When I saw the title, I would have expected a little more info on what is going on. That's not exactly what it is, but it is a little bit information on what they plan to do. So I will, of course, link to it in the description, and you should read it for yourself for the details. But in essence, they explained that the January update was supposed to change this to a more realistic supply and demand process. That it was supposed to create gold rushes, especially for refinery economies, and that people have to focus more on finding the right stations where there is higher demands. They are aware of the issues with the system right now, and I think we will talk about this as a topic later on in the show. But they leave a few comments about the current issues and community feedback. First of which is that low temperature diamonds have so far not been really affected by this supply and demand system, and they will fix this they will fix this. They have already fixed this, I think. This post this in the past. Did they? In any case, in their post, they say that they want to fix these low temperature diamonds, that they work exactly the same as all the other minerals that have been hit by the nerf. Beyond that, they made changes to the galaxy map so that it is easier to filter where these high demand stations are, even if you do not have the corresponding minerals like void opals or painite in your cargo hold. And then they are aware of the thing that the price changes depending on the amount of minerals that you have in your cargo hold. That is somewhat interesting. They say that the price was always supposed to change based on the amount in your cargo hold. And they are looking at the feedback and considering what changes to make about that. So yeah. We will talk about this more in the discussion section in a bit. But first of all, let us look at branch news. And we will start with the branch of Vigor. As I have said, and again, I forgot to introduce myself at the start, I'm Lord Warden Mistler for the branch of Vigor speaking. And as I already hinted at in the last Congress, our control war in the HIP 118079 system for the Adamantine Union concluded as I expected. It was a very smooth win, a bit slow, but it went right without any opposition whatsoever. And since then, we have been heavily pushing the system up, so we can definitely consider this system liberated and safe right now. And we have already opportunities to move to other targets. On that note, it is probably the biggest news for me to mention that there has been a little rework of the Vigor mission board. Now, the old mission board was something that I kind of liked because it had a lot of objectives listed, all separated by activities that you can do in the game. But in about the of a year of experience that I have doing this mission board and updating it regularly, my impression was that it was too much information, basically, and a lot of redundant information. So I have refactored this mission board, and now the sections for the different activities will only contain explanations of what to do and how to report it and the rates. And all of the current tasks will be very compact in a more daily news-like format. It's not something I post every day, but I post every time there are changes in our objectives, and it's really containing all the information in this one post. And I hope this makes life easier, both for me maintaining it, but also for everyone looking at it. And after all, if there are any questions, people can just ask them and have done so in the past. So I hope this refactor works out well. And now let me hand over to Lord Headmaster Jackaron for the branch of sight.
Well, first of all, let me say I'm being blackmailed by the Chancellor's wife. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not in the Emerald Observatory, I'm driving around the planet to collect materials for my fleet. And she just messaged me from the orbit that she wants to show me something she calls a surprise. I'm not sure what's going on here, but the Chancellor better come back here and collect his wife before something odd happens. However, while I'm driving this SRV and collecting materials, let me tell you something about the happenings from last week. I've enlisted in the military, yeah? I mean, I didn't know a Lord Headmaster could still go back to being a normal soldier, but our roleplay has some interesting new holes to explore. I guess a lot of people will follow soon, but was I the first one to do that? I guess so. And if you're wondering why I'm not in the Emerald Observatory, but driving around an icy planet, I've decided to reconstruct my fleet. Because of roleplay reasons and of reasons that affect my deepest Imperial soul, I have chosen to sell all my non-Imperial ships. That means every single ship that's not manufactured by Gutamea. My new fleet will consist out of 4 cutters, 3 clippers, 3 carriers, and 1 Imperial Eagle. And they're also going to be renamed. I don't know which name yet, but probably the answer will be coming soon. Other things. Sorry, I'm ill. Yeah. A side mission board nerf is coming, because I've watched that and it's a bit too rewarding for me at the moment. But don't worry, it's not going to be something like with the mining thing that's going on right now. It's just a little nerf. We don't want people to become reputational mutants in such a short time, with picking up 2 medals at once and so on. If you're asking me about the expedition I've announced last week, more information is coming soon. First, I have to get healthy again, and also avoid the Chancellor's wife ramming me because she's just entered Super Cruise and I'm a bit afraid here. But yeah, that's everything that's going on right now.
All right, thank you. Now, as we are recording right now, the Lord Herald is not here, so we cannot do a branch news section. We will just stand by here and see if he drops in or not, so we can do the mind news section later if there's any news from his side. I don't have any real follow-up. Do you want to bring up something, Jackie?
Well, the only thing I want to bring up is that the Imperial Cutter of the Chancellor's wife is pointing directly at my direction. I doubt that she's on board. Nobody should do that with a Lord Headmaster. What's going on here?
Does she have a bounty?
No.
In this case, I guess we can just head straight into the prismatic discussion section.
Prismatic discussion. Prismatic discussion.
Well.
Prismatic discussion.
Now that was rather quick. So yeah, everyone who's here is of course welcome to join the prismatic discussion section. As always, we are back to a more chatty and normal episode after last week's episode with Captain Flint, which I think was working out really well. Any input on this? Any feedback you want to bring up about last week's episode?
I think Flint, I'm glad he was able to come on and kind of spread his passion for engineering. I actually didn't know. Flint and I go back for a long while at this point. I think he mentioned I was one of the first angels he ever interacted with. He was the first guy ever brought into the BGS and promoted to Guardian Angel over there. And I didn't know for his proclivity for engineering, but he obviously does have a passion to it. And I think it's just a great format for this show. It was a well done by everybody involved, and thanks Missler for putting that together.
Thank you for all your help you gave me in preparing that. But yeah, I think it worked out fairly well. First time I've ever really done something like this, but it certainly was a lot of fun, and I think Captain Flynn was a very great guest. It was a pleasure to work with him, and I'm certainly up to having this on a more irregular basis, but have this more often. If we have any cool guests that we can invite and talk to, or any interview sections, I'm certainly up to it. That is a lot of fun, I think. Now let me get back to the thing I talked about in the general news section in more detail. I think we also have minors in our voice chat right now, so this might be something of interest to talk about. Now, I made the mistake when reading through this earlier. Is this patch the first patch about low temperature diamonds live now, or is it not? I'm not informed on that.
You got me. I thought it was upcoming because even just as of a couple of days ago, I saw people talking about like pretty high prices for low temp diamonds. I'm not a miner though, so it's like you said, there's some other miners in this audience right now. Maybe they have a better idea, but I'm not sure it is live at this point.
This notice post by FDev kind of went off the radar to me. I only saw that today that it was even posted. So I might have just completely missed it going through the official channels, but yeah, it was posted on Thursday, and they say that from tomorrow we will be aiming to correct this. Is the exact wording. I have the article open right now.
Okay,
so this might be another case of loophole in the wording.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense because I think I talked about this when we first talked about the January patch and the changes to mining. That there aren't really any good in-game tools to be able to gauge that demand, and that was part of the post you mentioned. That it sounds like they'll be adding those the demand values for even just having these minerals in the UI because they're currently not there. So that makes more sense that it'll be an upcoming patch.
In that section about the galaxy map, it also said from tomorrow's commanders will be able to toggle these minerals without needing to have them in their cargo hold. I haven't checked if that is live now or not. It should be going by the post date.
By that wording, it sounds like it should be in there now.
But then again, we have learned that we have to be careful, as we saw with that nav locking will not drop you what was the wording? Significant distance away.
Right.
And it's still unusable because 50 kilometers is still a somewhat annoying distance, even if it is not as significant as 2 megameters.
Well, I can report as of yesterday, it seemed that significant distance has been brought down to 20 kilometers. So it seems to be improving. Yes.
Wow.
It's happened several times. So it seems that significant distance is becoming less significant.
We just have to wait like 2 or 3 more weeks then, I guess.
It'll be perfect then.
And after that, you'll drop behind them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm curious if they say they are aiming to make more fixes there and consider community feedback. So I'm somewhat hoping for them to give really more details on how the system works. I know it's not really something they want to agree that people game the system, but right now there's just so many different things I think the piracy is still completely broken, right? So if you want to pirate ships that usually carry low temperature diamonds, for example, and that come from mining in rings, then right now there's the bug that they carry food cartridges and whatnot, but not minerals that you want to get. And then there's these weirdnesses with the cargo hold. And as I said before, what confused me really is that they say the price offered is based on your cargo hold. That has always been the case. Has it really?
I mean, maybe since the update, because we kind of theorized about this when, it was some people with smaller cargo holds were getting better prices on a per ton basis than larger holds. And the only way I think that could work is if the market adjustments were happening in real time per ton. So it would make sense that you would get bigger diminishing returns on a larger cargo haul than on a smaller one, which again, this is without FDev, kind of lifting up the hood for us a little bit. That kind of sounds almost like confirmation that that's what's happening.
Do you mean on a like the patch we're currently on now, or like sort of one they're planning on putting out?
As it works right now, since they implemented the market adjustments.
I've been hanging.
That definitely wasn't the way it worked before they made that. Whatever the sale price was per ton, that's what you got, regardless.
So I've been hanging out on the miners Reddit, and by the way, I love that you have birds in the background. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Bear.
I was about to say the same. It's just a beautiful ambience.
But I was reading an article there. Someone went and sold, I think it was still void opals, the ones that are really sensitive to that, but they sold it 100 tons at a time. And as they sold them, they waited 10 minutes between selling, and the amount of money, credits they got per 100 tons kept going up as they kept selling, so like as they were depleting their own.
Yes.
Yeah, so like that's kind of how it works now, I think, is the less you have in your hold at that moment determines how much you're getting paid.
Okay, that sounds completely broken then, and I'd be surprised if FDev says that was intended.
I was really surprised when I read that. And Down to Earth Astronomy made a video about this where I think it was with void opals, or was it LTDs? I'm not sure what mineral, but the gist of it is that the community market seems to be updating every 10 minutes. And it kind of normalizes the price you get for it based on the ratio of what you have in your cargo hold to the demand at the station. So if you have less in your cargo hold, you get more pay.
The ratio of cargo hold to demand increasing price is actually a mechanic that's been in for probably all commodities. It's if you go into the trading forums on Reddit for like 2 years ago, this is a thing that has like pretty much always existed across all commodities. It's just that the multiplier on it has been so low that nobody's ever really noticed. And what they did apparently in the last January patch for all the high value minerals is turn that multiplier up to the point that we're actually feeling it for the first time. At least that's the sense that I can glean from the fact that like that is apparently an effect that's been in for at least 2 years. It's just that it's been at like 1% or less until now.
Commander,
that's insane.
Commander, we're in podcast form now. Say hello.
Oh, hi. I'm Ryvar, and I'm the newest addition to the branch of Vigor.
All right. I completely forgot that. I should have mentioned that in the news probably. You joined Vigor, which is nice. I'm always happy to see more members.
Well, thank you.
By the way, if you're wondering who's that annoying noises, it's the Chancellor's voice.
But thanks. You guys have made me feel really welcome here, so I appreciate it. But I've been researching this pretty heavily because obviously I have a vested interest in maximizing mining returns, and as far as I can tell, that's what's been going on. So they're not wrong when they say that that's always been in there. It's just that the multiplier was so low we never noticed.
It's an interesting point. There's a second thing to it though that makes this so noticeable. The fact that it is based on the ratio of your cargo hold to the demand is just part of it, because if you sell from your cargo hold, obviously the demand should go down too, so this ratio should not change too much. But there is the second problem that comes in, which is that every 10 minutes with a community market update, it resets the demand at the station. So when you, for example, come with 500 tons of void opals and the station has a demand of 600, you get a low pay, you sell, I don't know, 100 tons, you wait 10 minutes, and the demand goes back up to these 600 tons. And now this ratio has changed more noticeably, and you only have 400 of 600. And that gives you a higher price. I think it's really weird. So I hope their investigation on the topic comes up with something, because it doesn't really sound making sense to me.
The fall off appears to really kick in. It looks like it's a logarithmic function, and the fall off appears to really kick in after 200 tons. It almost looks like they're encouraging the less, or they're specifically discouraging the cutter 500-ton runs of pay night specifically, and looking to push people more in towards a variety of cargo sizes. For instance, Python is almost optimal. Like a 192-ton Python build is almost optimal in terms of the demand to ratio, demand to supply, or cargo hold size ratio pricing that we're seeing now.
Which is interesting, because you know how people love to really see what the best thing is at the moment. And I think all the rage that I've seen but haven't actually watched on YouTube right now is the a mapped low temperature diamond run. I don't know the specifics of it, but it appears to pay as much as it did before.
At least it used to.
At least as much, if not more. Yeah. The what is it? Bannon, something like that. Their A2 has a triple LTD hotspot. There's a map. I linked it in the QBO Starport a few days ago. That is like all the rage for the current mining meta, and it's definitely replaced the standard pay night double hotspots. So yeah, I expect that will be closed pretty soon.
It probably either has, if this what they say in the post is true, and they already addressed the issue with low temperature diamond, so that they scale the same way as the others do. If not, you can probably expect it to in the next days.
Yeah, in the next couple of days, because right now we're still seeing 1.1 million with demands anywhere between 3,000 and 20,000 on miners tools. So yeah, it hasn't hit yet, but I expect it will soon.
Right, and
it does bring an interesting point from game balance perspective of skill to make money with. I mean, it would seem that, and I haven't done it, that some sort of mapped run through a ring system would take a bit of skill, or at least dedication to do, and that'd be worth it. Kind of how finding core rocks to shoot would be.
It takes about, in my experience, having learned 2 maps now, it takes about 12 to 15 runs to get your time down from about 2.5, 3 hours to about just under an hour for most of the popular mapped runs, at least. So yeah, I think that there is a skill there, but again, FDev really seems to want to keep most activities at their peak. Having 100 million credits per hour seems to be their target, and obviously pay night at 400 million credits an hour was broken, so I expect that most other activities that push that, and right now LTDs is in a similar I think it's closer to like 250 at the moment. And again, that'll probably get hammered down to close to 100, 110 million an hour.
So power back into the core mining, which is all right. That's always been fun to do. It was just, less than strip mining was.
If you are the new kind of player who's still after getting credits to even get bigger ships, and you are starting out mining in your Asp Explorer or even in an Adder or whatnot, then you are probably least affected by this nerf, which is possibly a good thing.
Oh, I totally agree.
Nevertheless, I assume research will continue there, and I should probably keep an eye on Elite Miners myself. As I think there will be a lot of more information on people trying to find out what's going on there. It's somewhat amusing that mining prices have turned into the same kind of, we have no idea what's going on, let's try stuff, as BGS is.
So the adders are fine. Who it affects the most is the cutters.
And the T9s.
Which I just got on my second account, and that's what the poor headmaster here was being harassed by while he was trying to do his segment, was me flying around him on my alternate account celebrating.
Oh, that's why you're harassing him. The mining price. I see.
Poor guy.
Indeed. By the way, Chancellor, I was wondering if you're going to do your own part and tell a bit about the Senate's condition right now.
Yeah, I think I'm prepared for that.
Dun,
Wow.
dun.
Dun
Wow.
dun dun.
Okay.
He's actually dying, by the way.
I am.
In terms of money making in the game, I still wish they would make combat a little more interesting. But as we have recently found out, there is a way of combat that can be fairly lucrative, which is hunting bugs in AX conflict zones. And I'm so proud of how I did this bridge to the new topic.
Nice.
And we've mentioned it before that the Thargoids are back, and that there are AX conflict zones now. But we have people in our voice chat right now that have actually done these AX conflict zones.
Nah.
So
Hey.
what's up with these new AX conflict zones, and what's your opinion?
What I like is that not only are the AX conflict zones back, provided AXI isn't clearing them all, which they're very good at, is that the rescue ships also now, instead of purely doing or like having the purpose of being a destination for those passenger, those escape the burning station missions, is that they're providing actual bug hunting missions off of them now. So if you don't have a friend or two to conquer a AX conflict zone yourself with, they're actually sending out missions for individual interceptors. Like I just saw one for a Medusa. And Barefeet here knows my pain. I've always wanted to solo a Medusa, but as the non-human signal source system is, it's near impossible to get just a Medusa. It's always a Medusa and some scouts, which kind of hard to do solo.
So I actually had a question for you on that, because we did that for we took up a couple of those for scouts, which you just cleared in the AX combat zones, but I don't think that gives you does that give you a dedicated mission source like it would for, like, say, an assassination mission, or you just have a bounty on one Medusa that you still have to find and kill?
So I haven't. I looked at the mission. I'm staring at it really intently right now. I haven't done it for the Medusa, which I have, but I tackled a Basilisk one before, and it did give me a nice blue specific mission instance to go
Okay,
after.
so then maybe you can finally get that natural Medusa you've been looking for.
Please. Please.
Is that just my impression, or did they also make more AX conflict zones, or tune that they don't despawn that quickly? I've not been there long enough to pay attention, but I've got the little impression that it's harder for the AXI to clear all of them now.
I have been monitoring them in their progress, and there was like a really specific. It's like the second week they came back, suddenly it became much harder for them to clear them. Like the first week was, and the Thargoids made their comeback, was about business as usual, but now it's like I'm looking at it now, and it's a couple days into the elite week, as it were. And they haven't cleared anywhere as before they'd be about finishing up. So I think they messed with the triggers a bit as far as how much work it takes to clear an AX conflict zone.
We should probably explain this to listeners who are not aware of how this works, but it is on the power play cycle right now, right? So there's like a total number of conflict zones you can win to basically fight back the Thargoids for that week. And once all of them are cleared, there are no more respawns.
So if that's something, a playstyle you were looking for, you have to get it while it's hot, and they made it a bit harder to clear. So that works out, especially if you're doing your axe hunting in the Enclave, which is not where the AXI is really present.
Are they still in the Pleiades most?
That's where they do most of their work, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's only one this week that's out in the Enclave, so you can expect that to get cleared last.
Do you know what kind of Thargoid missions that you can get from the mission board?
Yeah, so right now it's just really a clean mix of go figure scout and interceptor ones, with the higher level interceptors being like Medusas. Actually, I haven't seen a Hydra one yet, but the Medusa is the highest I've seen yet, and it's pretty hard to actually see on the mission board, but they exist. And those are from the rescue ships themselves, and possibly even the AXI ship that shows up, but the current system's like 250,000 light seconds away, so I haven't made my way to it.
Is it
Interesting anyway.
That's where they're selling the anti-Xeno weapons. You got to go all the way out there.
Is it usually missions to kill one specific interceptor type, and then for scouts it's like massacre missions, get 20 of them, or how do these work?
It is for the scouts, yeah.
Scouts are interesting too, because I ran into a nice bug with your NPC fighter, where if you try and get into your fighter itself, the fighter gets into your mothership and decides to boost away at maximum speed, like in a single direction.
Why?
There's a workaround to it. It's annoying. It works, but because of that, I failed one of the instances, because even for the scouts, it will populate, a nice blue mission instance for you. And since mine, boosted away and I had to come back to it, I didn't kill all the scouts, but it just generated another mission instance for me. So that was nice to clear out the scouts with.
And actually, the other thing too with those scouts, the scout missions behaving like massacre missions. If you want to talk about what's probably an oversight, they stack. The kills stack like the old massacre missions used to.
Oh.
So you can pick up a bunch of missions, kill a bunch of scouts, and clear a bunch of those in a quick fashion. So obviously they took care of that with the regular massacre mission, so they don't stack eventually. I think that was the basically the skimmer runs where it kind of prompted that. So expect it to get patched out at some point, but at the moment you can stack them.
So, fun fact, if you're looking to really grind some combat progress for your fighter, great way to do it.
Or yourself.
Or that.
If you're the kind of player that is new to all the Thargoid combat and that wants to just start with some scouts, what can you expect to get out of these missions? Do they pay good credits? Do they pay rep?
They do pay good credits. I think the Basilisk turned out to being a little bit less than what the Basilisk was actually worth. Credit-wise, just for killing it. So I guess like anything, it will depend on the mission, but that's what I've seen so far. Just a little bit less than what's worth.
But you still get the credit for killing the Basilisk as well.
Yes.
So you get to double tip a little bit.
Right. Well, never say no to some additional income. So the biggest mistake you can probably make in a way is to just forget to check these missions before you head out fighting some goids.
Oh, I should say, while we're still on the topic, it was like 8 scouts, I think, for like 1.2 million credits. So it's not a whole lot of work for a fair good amount of credits, depending
Yeah,
on
if you-
your
and if you got a
individual axe skill.
Right, and if you got a scout specific killer build, which we haven't talked about the X conflict zones all that much. If you haven't done them, they're a ton of fun. And outside of working on my alt, I would definitely go out there. I know Otto's out there a lot, so even if you just want to hop in a fighter and kind of experience about it, it's some of the more engaging gameplay in this game. So definitely do it. But with the combat zones, you also can specialize your builds a little bit. Some people are specific scout sweepers. There are a lot of interceptor hunters, which most avid bug hunters have that type of build. And for the scout missions too, if you have a scout specific killer, you can blow through those things pretty quick. If you're good with the Gauss cannon, even quicker.
I think it's about as MMO as this game gets, to be honest, as far as like role specialization.
Chancellor.
And also in the sense of a raid, like when we were in a combat zone, what was it, a week or two ago? There were at least 7 other friendly commanders. There's 3 wings going on in there at the same time, and we still couldn't kill. We still couldn't kill the damn Hydra.
Yeah, we were 6 commanders against the Hydra.
Techeron, you were saying something?
Yeah, Chancellor. You're using a cutter for AX combat, right?
Yes.
Could you please share that loadout with me?
I think we're going to piggyback off what our guest said last week, and I won't give you a specific build for it, but really it's just like maximum reinforced shields, heavy duty shield boosters, and get good with fixed weapons and Gauss cannons. That's the basis of it. The rest of that comes down to tactics and your ability to hit the heart.
The basis of it
Decom
is pretty much hit points, because Stargoids ignore all resistances.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides the caustic one.
The interesting conversation with that is whether to go for Bioweave or Prismatic. Because in most scenarios, at least with a cutter, when you have the chance to run away because you're faster than every interceptor other than the Basilisk, you can, boost away and just whenever you want pretty much do a hard reset for your shields and get them back up to half health.
Yeah, I think that one would really depend on how good you are with your AX skills and how good you are with the ship you're flying. Because if you're a little bit more over prone to getting lightning attacked like I am, I'm never going to bring my prismatics out there.
I was inclined to say that especially if you're relatively new to the whole thing, Bioweaves are probably the more noob friendly in quotes thing, because you can expect to get these shields ripped off of you.
To the ships that will just, not attack your hull directly. Fucking Thargons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is fairly fun group content. It's probably the most dangerous group content you can do in the game right now. And at this point, it's probably good to mention that I don't think we announced this too much, but AX conflict zones have also entered the side mission bots, so these will also be rewarded.
Indeed.
And give us some feedback too if you feel like the rewards are, heaven forbid, they're too much. But if they're too little, please let us know, because it can get hard in there. But on my side of things, I'd rather have a bulk reward for it than have to keep track of everything we kill in there, because that can be upwards of 2 or 3 interceptors to actually get the kill or clear the zone. So.
Right, and it's fairly high rewards that encourage group play, so that's also good. Well,
I just hit the fucking crate in the mail slot. Why do people...
Stop playing the game while we're doing our Congress, man. Come on. Poor Bissler here is going to have to edit that out later.
He can multitask that. Why should I edit it out?
You're right. Maybe we should just shame him.
Just put a beep tone over it.
Is there a reason for me to not let people know that Techie hits crates in the mail slot?
Actually, yeah, we should keep that in. Come on, Tech. What are you doing?
Yeah, but put a peep tone over that.
Do I need to start watching your stream again?
No, I don't want an audit.
Okay, I'm joining.
Hey, well, there's nothing exciting to see now. I'm just flying to the next base.
We should talk about that breaking news that Techeron mentioned. How the hell does Maria not have a bounty? What are you doing with her, Otto?
So really, I was just going out to annoy someone in particular because I think I said it earlier. My alt account, I got the cutter for that too, as well as the Corvette. So I really just wanted to fly it a little bit, and it happened to be during the Congress, and he was the closest person, so I went to bug him.
I just don't think I've ever seen that account without a bounty on her.
It was getting hard to transfer modules around.
There it is.
Literally everything extra cash to transfer.
Sometimes I really do wonder which side you're on.
Not yours.
I know.
So what else is new this week? I think
Unfortunately,
you were making a new. You already talked about your new fleet. Anything else?
unfortunately, Kevin is not here. Otherwise, we would probably have some news and input on the roleplay that has happened the week, plus the prismatic items that appeared on the market. But that feels kind of weird to talk about without him.
Just offhandedly reading our RP discussion channel a little bit. A certain someone's legs appear to be getting ripped off, possibly. So that's an interesting thought. Other than that, yeah, it'd be better to be discussed by the man himself. So,
Our RP mastermind.
yes. I do see we have 4 people sitting in chat idly. Do any of you have anything to offer other than Rivar? Just kidding. You can talk too.
No.
Come on, Dan.
Oh, that tension.
You're killing me here.
You should have inhaled more noticeably.
I
I don't know. I'm in the middle of. I'm out in the void. Currently approaching the Eagle Nebula.
I've audited people for less. What else you got?
Come and audit me. I dare you.
You kidding me? I went to go audit our man Jeff Ryan. He was near Beagle Point. I did it for the lulz.
I don't doubt that you could do it.
It was like
Yeah, there you go.
56,000 light years in 24 hours. It was a good marathon.
In like what, a 50 light year clipper?
I think it came out to like 50.9 something. Yeah.
Sweet.
I haven't told anyone until now, but I died 3,000 light years in because I got caught in a neutron cone. Yeah. Thanks, Tech. I needed that.
Exploration 100.
I mean, really, it's all about determination, and I picked myself back up and made the trip, so. Angry the whole way. Could you imagine being angry for 50,000 light years straight?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I just lost all that. I lost all that exploration data when I pancaked into Prisma. So yeah, I can imagine being angry.
You have it so much worse. I'm sorry, I forgot about you.
That that was. Oh man.
Tell us play by play how that went down. I'm curious because you have to have been going. Like that's had to have gone through your head so many times.
So like I did what, like 80,000 light years, I think it was.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
80,000 light years out to Beagle Point and then back to Colonia, and I had a ton of exploration data because I've been FSSing. I did a speed run out to Beagle Point, but then I scanned everything as I came back, and I was smuggling 200 tons of weapons into Prisma as part of the ongoing election there, and I pancaked my Python during the landing. I mean, it's slightly high G, and I did.
Off the top of my head, I think that's an understatement. I think it's like 3.4.
It is. It is. You have to be careful. Autodoc is fine, but if you're new to smuggling and you're trying to get fancy with, flipping on stealth mode, you can do some damage to yourself. And in this case, I totaled my ship with all the exploration data, or 99% of it still on it. So yeah, I'm at the moment back out in the black, regathering that data.
Oh, did you want to silent run that? And
Yeah,
have
sorry,
Flintstone too?
I said stealth mode. I meant silent run. Yeah, that's
Oh,
that was my mistake.
I also died out there. I think I put this in a text channel before. And if you didn't play the game before this was a thing, you lucked out. But there was a while there where the game had a bug where instead of spawning all the skimmers on the ground for the ground ports, it spawned them at the top of, I don't know, whatever the height for the skybox is. It just spawned them real high. So if you're particularly unlucky on approach, one of them would come down from above, hit you, and they have the shut down your ship effect of dropping your shields and like rebooting it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I got hit by that in a what is it? Prisma Retina is the port out there. So not only did I get shot on my way down, I hit the ground fairly hard and exploded.
Nice.
I wish I could just say it was gravity, but
why did our colonists get that part again? It's like punishing yourself.
I hesitate to say this on something that's going to go on YouTube, but thanks, FDev.
Otto, watch my incredible landing skills now.
I will watch, and no one else will have context for that.
So,
Agona 3 again.
here's an interesting thing I just found out. I don't know if you're familiar, but Eagle Nebula, the place that I'm getting into right now, is famous for one of the most famous nebula shots ever made, the Pillars of Creation.
Oh, that's where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very popular nebula image, one that I was really hoping to see. And then I came to the nebula, and it's like, well, this is no different than any other nebula so far, right? So I went to Google it a little bit, and that's when it hit me that space exploration is real in here, in the sense of, yes, we have images of the Pillars of Creation, but they're so far away that we're looking a couple thousand years into the past. And what I found out is that the Pillars of Creation don't exist anymore, because that nebula was destroyed by a supernova that we have been slowly watching happen lately. As in, right now, we have the images on telescopes and stuff of a supernova slowly approaching the Pillars of Creation that have been destroyed for thousands of years, but we
so
just
cool.
now are witnessing it. And that's why you can't find them in the game, because they stopped existing a long time ago.
That is really cool indeed. I've never really thought about that, but yeah, that has to be a case.
Frontier's done a good bit of self-checking there too. Like when we finally got good I wish Jeff was here for this. When we finally got good images of what was it? I think it was Pluto. FDev themselves went back and looked at how their engine, Stellar Forge, I think. Bare Feet, is that where you got Stellar from?
No,
It better be.
it's
No,
it's from Space Quest.
I am less impressed now. They went back and tried to see how they thought it should look, because we never got like real high fidelity images of it, and how Stellar Forge thought it looked, and they compared them and like made some changes and stuff, which was pretty cool. I just think of that with the Eagle Nebula there. with you know, that attention to detail that, you know, it's actually dead 1,000 years in the future. What's up?
Which makes me even more curious with regards to how they adapt or will continue to adapt stuff to what we learn about the universe, basically, down here. Now, Beetlejuice would obviously be a topic I would also really like to talk about with Jeff if he were here. But that would be a candidate for some that could get changes. I mean, nobody expects Beetlejuice to blow up right now or anytime soon, but just as a thought experiment, if it would, that would be really fun to see how they adapt to represent this in the game.
Fun story about Beetlejuice. So our last headmaster actually organized an expedition, a short one, out to Beetlejuice.
Mhm.
And that's where he actually promoted and passed on the torch to Lord Headmaster Techeron here.
Did
Was
you?
in the, I guess, the starlight of Beetlejuice.
Yep.
And on the way out, I may have accidentally killed the ex vice warden. So, you know, sorry, man.
Well,
Don't boost your fighter towards another
Yeah.
ship.
you had such a great image build up there with our promoting party in front of Beetlejuice, and it was such a perfect image, and then you kind of destroyed it with, and I killed somebody.
Yeah, well, you know, the trip back to the bubble was a lot shorter.
Well, fair point, I guess. Nothing is faster than an escape pod in Elite.
It was a Rogue, I think, 494, by the way, was the previous headmaster.
Yep. A good old friend.
The Puga you killed was Ray, I guess?
No, it was Darth.
Ah.
Darth Seabass. we just go by Darth. It rolls a lot easier off the tongue.
Well, anything else somebody would like to talk about? What happenings this week or group's topics?
Rooster, you're new. I know you have something to say. Come on. You're on probation. What's it like?
Ah, there we are. Yeah, probation is, it's probation. No, it's been real fun getting to figure out the Imperium here. It's really cool. I'm actually still learning to play. I've only been playing Elite Dangerous for a few months, and just you guys have a ton of information, and I'm learning so much. It's been really cool, and looking forward to actually getting to some of the role play here soon too.
So 2 questions for you. 1,
Yes.
how many times have you asked yourself, what the hell is an audit? And 2, on a scale from 1 to 10, how scared are you of it?
Well, I mean, an audit. It doesn't. I haven't thought about it very much, and so I really don't have much to fear.
You should
Okay,
friend
well-
me in game.
Well,
In-
just for saying,
Anything more than anything else that's unknown. So maybe a little trepidatious because now that it's brought up, I have something to think about.
yeah, well, now that you just said that, however scared you were of an audit, you should bring that up a couple ticks. Because now it's going to happen.
good.
I'm very much looking forward to mine.
Whoever does those things, I don't know who that is,
Hmm.
but I'm pretty sure you're on the radar now.
Oh, good. Well, I have plenty of whiskey, for any sort of. And I imagine it's inevitable pain. So
I mean, how the audit would happen, I'm told, depends on what's in your hold when it happens. So that better be some good whiskey.
it's pretty good whiskey.
Also, it is possible to bribe you.
Yeah, that was a subtle bribe. Subtle.
It's a pretty
No
good bribe.
comment. Just know they only happen in our player group, and that's a non-PvP zone. So you shouldn't be a little afraid.
All right. I look forward to it then.
But glad you're enjoying our group, and always good if you learn new stuff and the game keeps you motivated.
Yeah, it's been real fun. I mean, it's up until this point, I've been kind of soloing everything, and kind of learning on my own. And it's I think what I've learned in the past week and a half I've been around. I mean, it surpasses everything that I've learned in the months previous. So yeah, thank you guys for answering all my questions and putting up all the information. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Keep trying to better yourself as a commander, and I mean, if you go all solo, you'll never really see where everything's at and answer all those stupid questions you might have, set to yourself, like whether or not you should mine with collector limpets. That's an OG, very early Elite Dangerous reference, by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Did they, speaking of mining without collector liquids, did they fix it that fragments from core mining fit into the cargo scoop of the clipper?
Dude,
Because at
I
some
wasn't
point,
aware of this one. What?
at some point, when I was so annoyed with all the suicide limpets crashing into asteroids, I tried to, when there were only like 2 or 3 fragments left, I tried to say, oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna waste my limpets and just collect them myself. And they didn't fit into the cargo scoop.
No.
I tried like 5 to 6 attempts of getting it in, but it just didn't fit.
Because those are like really big chunks too, like as they're
Yes.
coming at you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I remember it was just as they released core mining, they finally fixed, quote unquote, the suicide limpet thing. Like they'll actually like navigate around chunks and like asteroids. It's funny they never made it into the hold though.
I still haven't tried it after the January update. It's still on my list of things to do at some point.
Dude, you play the game in VR. That's beautiful for core mining. Like the way I do it.
Absolutely.
The way I do that in my
Absolutely.
cutter is I have my HOTAS, right? But like I lean my chair back and I just look up as I'm flying under the ring looking for the best rock. It's amazing. It's the most
Absolutely, yeah.
relaxing thing I've ever done.
That's if I would have to make like a top list of things that VR makes so amazing, then mining and having this opportunity to just look up and have a better view at what works are highlighted. That's a big part of it. The other very big top feature of VR is pretty much to me that you can target by looking at stuff. So whereas on a desktop PC, you always target what is in the center of your screen. With VR, you can just look at something and press the target button, and that's great.
Well,
As another VR player, I'm going to chip in here, and canyon racing in VR is incredible, especially if you use like a good old Imperial fighter or something.
Commander, say hello.
Hello,
Who are you?
I am Commander of Phelion.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi. Yep, I'm good. How are you guys?
Fighters in VR are cool too. That's absolutely true. When I did made for some kind of canyon racing in my I think I had the Guardian fighters on board on an exploration trip. That usually ended not too well for my fighters, but it's a lot of fun, and it's also a lot of fun to do in CQC in VR.
Oh, while we're here, forgot to talk about this earlier. Back when my fighter was piloting my Corvette and picking a direction and boosting away. Yeah. The Guardian Lance, I think it is, the Goss cannon one, was actually more fun to kill scouts in than the Corvette itself. The thing's so fast and just chunks away at scouts. Like, ugh. 10 of 10.
The Corvette is probably pretty annoying to turn on scouts.
At least it can turn. The cutter has a different problem.
And if you have a high-skilled pilot flying your Lance, they also do some good damage.
They never miss, man.
I only have a dangerous level pilot, but even she took out hearts So that's pretty amazing. But anyway, I think that's a good moment to wrap it up for today. Kevin did not show up, as it seems, so we will have Mind News scheduled for next episode. But yeah, I hope everybody's back next week, and we will have more things to talk about. So thank you for today, everyone, and see you next week.